Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You got the Pokemon Professor here, and today I'm bringing you my Week 6 matchup for the UPBWL, an Uber's Pokemon Draft League. So if you're into a draft league, or if you're into Ubers, drop a sub. Help your boy out. Let me reach my dream of some passive income playing fucking Pokemon. All right. Looking at his team, he brings a lot of the stuff that we expect. Wasn't for sure about the Klefki, but could have seen it. And we see an Ampharos. So I'm going to like to lead with my Zapdos. I was trying to decide, do I lead Panther and get up rocks? Because if Giratina has Defog, or if Corviknight has Defog, we kind of pressure them into a passive turn. And one thing against Stall is just trying to take advantage of those passive turns. And I think I'd be in a great position with something like my Zapdos or my Life Orb Clefable to do so. Tell my opponent good luck, have fun. He just tells me to have fun. I don't know what he expects me to have fun with whenever he shows up with Stall, but that's either here nor there. Here nor there. So Lambrito brings the Breloom. Now, this thing could be Terra Rock, so I'm looking at Damage Calcs, and I'm like, do I just fire off a Hurricane? Do I fire off an Air Cutter? But the way he let it, I didn't want it to be some kind of weird Focus Sash set and be able to go for some kind of crazy Endeavor, Mach Punch, or whatever the hell. So I just select a Volt Switch. He does go for the Protect and reveals to be the Toxic Orb. So again, I'm just going to Volt Switch out. Even with the Toxic Orb, I'm not expecting the Endeavor set, but I don't want him to tear a rock and get off some kind of big rock tomb or anything like that. Serena's here to really shut down anything this guy wants to do, and then be able to U-turn out accordingly, probably out when he goes into a Corviknight or something. And Volt Switch is very free. Looking at his team, I think Spectrier is a great win con, but I also think Zapdos is a great win con in itself, especially if we get some chip damage off on the Klefki and the Giratina. So I want to keep this thing healthy. Now, outside of that, his really only Volt Switch switching is going to be that Ampharos. So click the Volt Switch as he brings in the Ampharos. From the damage, I can see that he's not Assault Vest. Now, truth be told, I don't know what the fucking Ampharos wants to do. I have zero idea what that thing does. I know that it can click Cotton Guard and Body Press, because, it's cheeky and shit. So I want to be able to hit it hard on the special side. It's way too early to go out into my RIP Shea Daddy, my Spectrier. So I just like to go out into my Clefable. We see the leftovers, so we know it's just very bulky this week. And I just want to hit it hard. So I go for the Moonblast. If he wants to go out into something like the Corviknight, so be it. I have the Thunderbolt, and Ampharos, oddly enough, doesn't get like Lightning Rod. It has Plus and Static or something. So I click the Moonblast just in case he wants to try to set up or get weird, as he just clicks Discharge. So I'm expecting some kind of weird static discharge Paraset with, fucking Hex, Giratina, or whatever. But we get a good chunk off. Now, I go for the Wish because, you saw the damage that we do, and I don't expect him to want to lose Ampharos so early on, whenever it's really his only switch into my Zapdos, like I said. So, expecting him to pull a double, I go for a Wish here. And nice outfit. Giddy up. As we can see, he does withdraw. And he goes out into the Gobblegut. Fun nicknames. Gobblegut, the Alamamola. And so right here, he brought it in after seeing my damage from Clefable. He knows he's bulky. He knows that Moonblast did a decent chunk, probably more than what he was expecting. So the way he brought this in, I kind of expected it to be that mirror coat, mirror, whatever the hell, AV set. Essentially be able to sponge a hit and then hit me for double the damage on the special side. So I click Rocks, kind of scouting for it, because if he goes for a knockoff, I lose my Life Orb. Not the end of the world. I can eat a Skull. I don't have to worry about getting burned or anything like that, or the burn damage. And as we see, that's the case. He does go for the mirror coat. So got Clefable back at full, and at this point, I'm just going to go out into my Lily-Loo. If he flip turns, so be it. We are able to U-turn out ourselves, and we have switch-ins to pretty much anything he wants to go out into. And I can't let Clefable go down. We have that Giratina. I don't know if it's going to be Scarf. It could be that one super offensive cleaner mon with Shadow Ball to try to catch my Spectrier off guard and then just punish. It could try to set up behind screens. Just a little bit too early for Clefable to bite the dust, be 6 feet under, But he does flip turn out. And from here, I believe he goes out into the Corviknight. I can't remember what he named it, but he's got some good little nicknames. I gotta give it to the boy, Squizzard. Not Squidward, but Squizzard. And we see no rocks chip damage, so I don't have to worry about Rocky Helmet, which is nice. But with that being said, I don't know if he's some kind of offensive, like speedy Corviknight. I've used some crazy like bulk up power trips in the past, and I didn't want him to be faster and go for a Brave Bird and pick up a KO on my Serena because he does bring the Clef Key. If he wanted to go for an attack, I wanted to keep spikes off the field, is what I was saying with my Serena. So I'll go hard out into Zapdos just in case he does go for an attack. I wanted to be able to possibly get a static off, be able to roost off anything, things like that. And if he sets up, I can pressure it out with the Volt Switch in itself, which is ultimately what I'm going to do. I'm trying to decide, do I click the Hurricane because surely he switches out, but expecting something like an Alamomola to come in to possibly eat the Hurricane and then force me to, eat a Mirror Coat from a Volt Switch or double out in itself. I just felt that Volt Switch was the best overall. I'm playing stall, I have rocks up, and I think the best thing to do is just not take my foot off the gas. I wanna put my heel to the throat, some real Tom Segura, your mom's house live type shit. I want that pain Olympics for the boy. I need to punish him for bringing stall the way he is trying to punish me by making me play stall. So I get a Volt Switch off, and here, looking at it, I'm trying to decide how much I do with my Shayquaza. This thing I think can be used great to break. So I'm looking at it, and I think it's a little bit too early. So ultimately, I do decide to go back out into my Panther. And Moonblast has a chance to KO. We saw it do pretty decent damage. We know we can eat a discharge. So I'm just going to click Moonblast. See if I get lucky, get a crit, get a high roll, or if last one was a low roll, whatever the chance may be. And unfortunately, this is where I learned that he also has Ampharos as a Terra Captain. I mean, I knew it was there, but in my mind, I saw the Breloom, and I just immediately thought Breloom was the Terra Captain. And he elects to be Terra Poison. So I have a quick little freak out, I'm fucked. He's going to eat this hit. He's going to be able to pick up a KO with the Terra Blast Poison, and I'm screwed. Because Moonblast does not do enough at this point. But he does click Discharge, so kudos to us. I don't know if he thought that I would be able to switch into the Terra Poison with one of my other Mons, knowing that was one of his Terra Captains, or if he just didn't pack it, more of a defensive thing. But it worked out for your boy. And at this point, I know he has no T-Bolt switch in. So I'm just going to click the T-Bolt right here and right now and pick up the KO on Ampharos. First blood, non-stall. So, looking good, right? We get rid of Ampharos. We essentially limit his Zapdos switch-ins to something like the Clef Key, which is really nice. So, I like the way everything's going at this point. Zapdos is still at full. Clefable is at pretty decent health as he elects to go out into the Womp King, the Clef Key. So here, really, I think he's going to be something like either Screens or the T-Wave. So I'm trying to decide, do I go Ferdinand and pressure the Screens from getting up, make him waste turns? Do I go Head Game to try to stall out Screens and get up a T-Spike? But looking at his team, ultimately, I don't want to catch a T-Wave on anything. I don't want to catch a T-Wave specifically on Panther because I am running max speed, so I can get a jump on a Giratina, and I don't want that to be the difference in winning and losing. I don't want any kind of weird para bullshit hacks to come in. So I'm going to go hard out into my Zapdos. Whether he gets up screens, so be it. We can stall some turns out that way, try to get the bull in and break them. If he goes for the T-Wave, obviously I've got the Zapdos in. I can eat a Flash Cannon. I could eat some kind of like play rough or whatever other move. I could possibly pair him. So he actually just says, fuck all that. I'm going to get up spikes. And, you know, not the worst thing to have happened. He's got one layer up. So we see leftovers. What that shows me is that he's not like Clay. So I'm not as worried about screens at this point as what I was at the beginning. And I just feel like Hurricane's going to be the best play. I can get off some good damage. I could get confusion. I could get a crit. And I'm going to be able to spin away, hopefully, the hazards later on. Being able to pressure this thing down is going to be massive. If I can pick up the KO on this thing with Zapdos, then he has no Zapdos switch-ins. And Zapdos is just completely free. And Hurricane does like 25% or right near it. So I'm going to let him get up all his layers as I just keep on clicking Hurricane, man. I'm just going to keep on clicking that button. So we see the 3 layers. You know, RIP all my non-boots mods. But I'm still banging on Serena to be able to click the rapid spin later on. Yeah, he's got the Giratina, but we've got the triple axle, right? So if we can pressure that, get some damage off on it beforehand, we may be able to pick up the KO and then spin later on. And this Hurricane's doing, like I said, 25% pretty much every time. So if he wants to stay in here and get a little cheeky, then so be it. But he likes to go Kingfin, which is the Giratina. And from here, you're going to see he is not boots. I get some damage off on this thing. Or no, he is boots, sorry. But Hurricane did more than 25%. So it's looking good, right? Because he's boots, I'm expecting just some kind of bulky nonsense, whether that be some kind of Hex, Will-O-Wisp, Draco, but I'm at full. I know I'm going to be able to outspeed. I'm doing 25 with the Hurricane, and I miss, but he also misses his Will-O-Wisp. So no harm, no foul. I click it again. My thought process is I need to get this thing on a turn to where it is just severely damaged, and if I can punish it, awesome. And we get the confusion. So, you know, we right there with that punishment. Some BDSM or whatever. No, that's brilliant. BDSP. That's BDSM was right there. BDSM was what I was thinking. We get the confusion. He does miss again, and I'm pumped, right? I landed 3 Hurricanes in a row. He's confused. If he hits himself in his confusion or doesn't pull a rest or isn't able to get the rest off, this thing's dead. But life would be too easy for that to happen. Life would be too easy because he is able to get the rest off. The next little bit, I'm just going to speed it up and walk you guys through this. You know, breaking that 4th wall, you know I do the post-calm anyway, and that's a personal preference. You can call me a pussy, I don't care. I just enjoy being able to focus and then not hearing keys click whenever I'm playing the game. And, you know, damn it, it's the way I roll. So I'm just going to keep on clicking Hurricane. We know the moveset. Once I saw rest, I knew it was going to be Sleep Talk. He's shown the Will-O-Wisp, so I was assuming it was going to be Hex. At this point, I'm just going to keep applying pressure. I want to force this thing into a turn where it rests. I want to force it to burn through some rest, burn through some Sleep Talks. So I'm just going to keep staying in with my Zapdos. He is able to pressure stall me out of my Hurricanes, which is unfortunate because I'm not doing nearly as much with my Air Cutter. But my thought process was he's burning through Sleep Talks. He's only got 16. He's burning through rests because he only has 8. He's already used, I believe, 1 and then a couple Sleep Talks. Zapdos wasn't burned. We were able to eat the Hex. So I actually Volt Switch out into my Panther, and the thought process behind that was, okay, he's going to go for another Sleep Talk turn. If I'm able to bring Panther in and click the Moonblast, which I'm able to whenever he is on a bad turn, I know I can live a Hex even being burnt at this point. So if he lands it, if we outspeed, we know we pressure it, and the next time it switches back in, we just have to attack it and not get a rest off. Basically break the cycle, right? So I was able to bring in Panther as he was able to sleep talk a Will-O-Wisp. Not the end of the world, but that does mean that we aren't able to eat 2 hexes anymore, just the one from what I was assuming, no investment, just max bullshit. So I go for the Moonblast. My thought process was, even if he goes out into the Corviknight, being able to go for the Moonblast into the T-Bolt, if he tries to roost it off, I'm actually going to be able to pick up the KO the following turn if I don't pick up the KO with the T-Bolt. But because of his mirror armor dropping my special attack, that's not the case. So I go back out into Zapdos. We'd seen the Iron Defense, so probably Body Press, Roost is what I'm assuming, maybe U-Turn or Iron Head. Whatever it is, we're fishing for a para with that. Not only that, but I'm going to be able to get a Roost off myself. So that's what I'm able to do. I know I want Zapdos still at full because I've got the Roost. I'm able to at least make Giratina, if worse comes to worse, burn through some Sleep Talks and some rests. And yeah, so he goes back out into the Giratina as I Roost back up. And yeah. Stall, baby boys. Stall. Oh. Okay. So here, I'm trying to keep track of everything. I know that I'm going to be able to outspeed. I get the Volt Switch off. Just a little bit more chip damage, trying to, again, pressure him to click the rest next time. And right here, instead of going out into the Panther because he could wake up, and I don't want to switch into the Hex this turn because, again, at that point, he could just maybe get the damage that he needed. I wasn't entirely sure. I kind of thought max with bulk investment, not too much in the special attack, but I didn't want to be wrong and lose my Panther and then ultimately lose a way to pressure out Giratina. So I go Greninja knowing I could eat the Hex. And I'm going to go for a T-Spike. I thought going Greninja, he doesn't know if I have the Dark Pulse. He sees that I'm not Boots. He could think that I'm Choice Specs. So if he goes out into Alomomola, that's fine because Giratina is out, and then, I'm able to pressure, hopefully it in a different way. And I want a T-Spike up to Toxic, or rather just one T-Spike to poison the Alomomola, to get a poison off on, I guess, just the Alomomola. But I want that Spectrier in-game. Looking at it the way he went for the Mirror Coat, if he's max HP, max Spadef, AV, that thing eats the Shadow Ball, even at +1, +2, fucking +3. In fact, I have to be +6 to OHKO that thing. And the T-Spike, with the one layer, the poison ensures that at +6, no matter his investment, I'm able to fuck his world up. So with this, he does go for another rest, which is nice. And at here, I really just kind of want to sack Greninja off. I don't want to go out into anything and find myself in a disadvantaged situation. So I'm just going to click a few buttons. The first one is Grass Knot. I wasn't expecting him to go out into Alomomola. This thing's at full. He's asleep. I want Greninja dead, and then I want to be able to switch in to the Giratina itself. So Grass Knot was just doing the most. So click another Grass Knot. Get negligible damage off as he pulls the Sleep Talk and gets another Will-O-Wisp. Slowly but surely. It's the name of the game. At this point, I'm saying, damn, I wish I brought Pressured Zapdos, but, I'm not that lucky. I do click Water Shuriken this turn. We are the loaded dice, but just in case you wanted to preserve a little bit of this and try to go out into the Corviknight, knowing that I'd already shown the Grass Knight, but no. He just picks up the KO with the Hex. So at this point, I'm looking at his health. I could pick up the KO with Spectrier, but again, I'm looking at the damage calcs, and I see that I just don't do enough to Alomomola. So I felt that it was too early on. Do decide to go back out into my Panther. He's sitting at about 75%. I know I can eat one Hex. He doesn't know necessarily that I'm faster. He could think that I'm just like max HP, max special attack. So I go for the Moonblast. We know the Corviknight situation. I know it's not at full, so another Moonblast into a T-Bolt would be able to pick up the KO. And if he wants to just get the guaranteed damage off on my Panther, and even if he picked up the KO, at that point, I would be in a great position. I'd be able to pressure out the Giratina with Spectrier and then try to set up some nasty plots and win. So, get a big hit off. And this thing is going to die to another one, right? So, I go for a Wish, expecting him to switch out again into the Corviknight. My thought process is, Corviknight isn't at full, so if he goes out into the Corviknight, you know, he may want to try to be cheeky and catch me doubling out into the Zapdos and go for a Roost. He could try to double back out into the Giratina on the Zapdos, trying to get a rest off in itself, knowing that I'm out of Hurricanes. And I just felt that Wish was a good play all around. Now here, I'm going to go for a T-Bolt, talking about that Roost on the Corviknight. You know, if he wants to be cheeky and go for a Roost or double back out into the Giratina, if I can get Panther back up, awesome. But even better, if he KOs my Clefable with Iron Head, at that point, Spectrier can come in and click Shadow Ball, right? So it felt like a no drawback. And then importantly, it gave me the position for Spectrier to come in. Now, bringing in my Spectrier, Corviknight, guessing the moveset, we saw the Iron Defense, we saw the Iron Head, we know Roost, so assuming Body Press, right, I had the Drill and the T-Tar, so figuring it to be something like that. I know Shadow Ball can KO, and I would be at +1, but then I'm still fucked. So looking at it, I can eat an Iron Head. I just elect to go for the nasty plot, expecting him to either attack me or go for the Roost. And he does go for the Roost, which is awesome, because at +2, Shadow Ball is going to be able to pick up the KO on this thing. And with the rocks and the one layer of T-Spikes up on the Mola, 2 Shadow Balls could actually pick up the KO, even if he's max. So I really like the positioning, and I'm betting it all on black. I'm putting it all on him for Shea Daddy out here. And I click the button. I click the Shadow Ball. At this point, we're +2. There's no turning back. My time is now. And we are actually able to pick up the KO here against Squizzard, the Corviknight. Feels good, man. Feels good. Sitting at +3 with Spectrier. We know we're the fastest thing on the field outside of any kind of bullshit priority on the Klefki and or the Breloom. But we didn't see Light Clay, or rather we saw leftovers. So if he screens, it's not the end of the world, right? We can go for a taunt one turn as he gets up probably the light screen. But we also have the Lumberry, should he go Klefki and try to click the T-Wave. And he just didn't pack the screens. So instead, he just goes hard out into the Mola. Again, talking about it at +3, we don't KO from this point. I've got to be +6, what I'm assuming to be max AV. So here, I click the nasty plot because I need to get up to +6. And if he's got knockoff, we can eat it. We may lose our Lumberry and it may come down to whatever, but I don't see us breaking through the Mola unless we can just Oko it. We eat the knockoff. Obviously, we're going to be able to flip turn, or eat the flip turn and go to. We didn't allow him to get the Mirror Coat damage off if he had clicked it, and we could have eaten a Scald as well. So at this point, I'm +5 Spectrier. I'm the fastest motherfucker out here, and Shadow Ball's going to get me to +6. I bopped the Giratina, I bopped the Breloom. He just flip turn out of the Mola, so he can't switch it back in and take 2 +5s. So I'm just going to click another Shadow Ball, right? I don't expect the screens. I got the Lumberry for the T-Wave. And as we see, Shadow Ball is actually going to be able to pick up the KO. I say that. A little foreshadowing here. I guess I was just really enjoying the moment because it's looking good. It's looking like a sweep. And as we get to +6, you know, we outspeed. He doesn't even have a T-Wave. I don't know if he clicked the foul play or something to hit this thing or what. But we are +6 and we win. Nothing can take a +6 Shadow Ball from Spectrier. Nothing's going to be able to outspeed me. Mach Punch we are immune to from Breloom. So that's going to be a good old GG's, baby. A good old fucking GG's. Looking at it, I think we played well. I think there's some things that we could have brought differently. I wasn't expecting full fucking stall, but like, god damn, am I happy we beat full fucking stall. I hate stall. I said it 20 times. I'll say it 20 more. I hate it. So it always feels nice to fuck up some stall. Like I said, possibility of playing this guy again. He has a good record, obviously. He has a good team, and stall is a very valuable play style, or viable, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So I can understand, should he continue to win his games, there be another matchup in the future in playoffs. So I think there's definitely some other things that I'd like to bring in prep that would help me against the things like the Deoxys, the Volcarona, but also with this stall. So just some things to keep in mind. But with this, I was toying with the Draining Kiss. I was like, do I let him know? Do I let him know that Spectrier is going to be back at full just because it's like a little fuck you to really signify the 4-0? But I decided against it because I'm not an asshole. Well, I didn't want to be an asshole. I guess it's a better way to say it. But, yeah. GG's to my opponent. I know I kind of shit talked, but it's all love. I ain't got nothing negative to say against the guy. But I'm happy we won. You know what I'm saying? With this, we move to 5-1. Pretty good little differential. We pick up a 4-0. I know last week we had the forfeit win, and I think that was counted as like a 3-0. So we're moving on up to the east side. With this, I'll catch you guys in the week 7 team builder matchup. And, yeah, peace.